It started with a simple welfare check, the kind of call police handle every day. But what officers found inside a quiet Hudson, Ohio home was anything but routine. A respected professor, a locked house, and a trail of evidence that led to a killer no one saw coming. Before you hear the full story, ask yourself this. If someone you barely knew asked for money, would you let them into your home? Todd Morgan did, and it cost him everything. April 19th, 2023 began like any other spring day in Hudson, a peaceful town where neighbors know each other, children ride bikes after school, and trouble feels far away. But by late afternoon, a 911 dispatcher answered a call from a frantic mother. Her daughter, a fifth grader at a nearby elementary school, had been waiting after class for her father, 41-year-old Todd Morgan, to pick her up. Todd never missed a pickup. Not once. The girl tried calling him. No answer. The mother tried. Still nothing. His phone rang, but no one picked up. Something was wrong. Hudson police were dispatched to Todd's home on West Streetsboro Street for a welfare check. They expected maybe a medical emergency, but instead, they stepped into a nightmare. Officers arrived to find Todd's SUV parked neatly in the driveway. The back door was unlocked. The house was quiet, too quiet. Through a window, a faint metallic glint caught an officer's eye. Then he saw it, blood, and a man lying motionless on the floor. The officers entered carefully, weapons drawn. There, in a dressing gown, lay Todd Morgan. Nearby were several spent shell casings, but there was no gun and no sign of forced entry. Whoever killed Todd had been close enough to pull a trigger 7 times and calm enough to leave without a trace. Detectives scanned the home for signs of robbery. Expensive electronics sat untouched. Cash was still inside. Nothing obvious was missing. But the master bedroom told a stranger story. Empty alcohol bottles, condom wrappers, multiple legally owned firearms, none of them used in the killing. It felt less like a break-in and more like a private meeting gone horribly wrong. Outside, small bloody footprints led from the back door, across the deck, and toward the driveway. They weren't Todd's. Whoever left them walked calmly enough to track blood without smearing it. That confidence chilled investigators. To understand the murder, detectives needed to understand Todd. Born in Michigan, Todd Morgan was brilliant and ambitious. He built a career in finance, eventually becoming a respected professor at Cleveland State University. Friends described him as witty, outgoing, and fiercely devoted to his 2 children, 10-year-old Aaron and 5-year-old Cecilia. But Todd's personal life carried turbulence. A first marriage ended after an affair with a student, and a second marriage collapsed in a bitter custody battle. Still, colleagues and friends insisted he was a loving father who never missed time with his kids. That devotion made his silence all the more alarming. Detectives canvassed the quiet street. Most neighbors said Todd kept to himself but was polite and friendly. Then one couple recalled something strange. Around 7:15 that morning, they heard sharp cracks, like gunfire. Minutes later, they saw a small, light-colored crossover parked behind Todd's black SUV. A person with shoulder-length hair walked briskly from the back of the house, carrying a small package, slipped into the vehicle, and drove away. They didn't recognize the car. They didn't recognize the person. That single observation became the first real lead. While piecing together the timeline, investigators discovered a chilling detail. At 7:21 a.m., the same time neighbors heard gunshots, a call was placed to 911 from Todd's address. No one spoke. The call lasted just seconds before disconnecting. It wasn't Todd's phone. The number belonged to a 32-year-old woman named Terriana Pascal. When detectives ran Terriana's name, their eyes widened. Ballistics tests revealed the 9mm bullets that killed Todd matched a weapon used in a 2021 Cleveland murder, a case in which Terriana had once been a suspect. She'd never been convicted, but now she was back on their radar. Hudson detectives dug deeper. They learned Terriana drove a silver crossover, the very type of car neighbors described. Cell phone records placed her near Todd's house at the exact time of the murder. Then came the DNA results. Her profile matched saliva found on a black and mild cigar left at the scene and on condoms recovered from the bedroom. This wasn't just a visitor. This was their killer. But why would Terriana kill a man like Todd? The answer came from an unexpected source, his phone. Todd and Tariana had met on Bumble, a popular dating app. Their relationship was short but intense, a mix of late-night visits and sudden requests for cash. Investigators discovered a Cash App record showing Todd sent Tariana $50 early that morning. Minutes later, he attempted to send $1,000, but the payment never processed. Detectives believe Tariana arrived at Todd's home before sunrise, demanded a large sum of money, and when he refused, she pulled a gun. 7 shots. Close range. Execution style. The silent 911 call was likely accidental, triggered as she grabbed her phone during the chaotic escape. With overwhelming evidence, DNA, cell data, eyewitness accounts, police moved quickly. Tariana Pascal was arrested and charged with aggravated murder, and tampering with evidence. During interrogation, she denied ever setting foot in Hudson, but the digital trail was impossible to deny. Her own shoes matched the bloody footprints. Her car matched surveillance footage from neighborhood cameras. Her phone betrayed every step. Faced with a mountain of evidence, Tariana eventually took a plea deal that in a hushed courtroom. Todd's family finally faced the woman who had destroyed their world. Tariana Pascal pled guilty to aggravated murder and tampering with evidence. The judge sentenced her to 23 years to life in prison. When given the chance to speak, Tariana's voice was barely audible. "I'm very sorry," she said softly. "I hope you can one day forgive me." For Todd's parents, his former spouse, and his young children, forgiveness felt impossible. A life of promise, a devoted father, a respected professor, had been stolen in a matter of minutes. Friends remember Todd as more than a victim. He was a man rebuilding after personal struggles, focusing on his students and his children. His lectures on finance inspire hundreds. His laughter filled classrooms and backyard barbecues alike. Now, those who loved him are left with only memories and 2 young children forced to grow up without their father's steady presence. The murder of Todd Morgan is a brutal reminder that danger doesn't always come from strangers in dark alleys. Sometimes it comes from someone you swiped right on, someone you think you know, someone you invite through the front door. Technology has made connection easier than ever, but trust, as this tragedy proves, still carries a price. Be careful who you let in, because a single morning, a single decision can change everything.